quick, so let's like blabber on
Mm.
about whatever before we officially start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I was looking up like episode recaps because I wanted to like just like get the gist of the plot. But then I was like, I don't need to know about every single little cameo. I just want to just know what happens in the episode. So I was like, you know what?
Yep.
Fuck it. I'm gonna watch the last 3 episodes at 2 times speed and hope for the best.
Gotcha.
Me and Jake just watched the last 2 back to back. That was took us from the beginning here.
I'm fortunate because I held off on watching the last 2 episodes until this past 2 hours. So now it's still fresh.
That's kind of sad, bro. No, that's kind of sad.
Like I watched it when it came out.
Yeah, you watch it when it come out for that initial experience, and you rewatch it before the podcast.
Hey, you know I have some home remodelization going on in Fly-In.
Bro,
look,
you paint with one hand, you watch it with the phone the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Paint, spackle.
What are you doing?
Hey, paint, spackle, sheetrock, wiring, all that stuff, man. It takes time, all right? And I'm not exactly taking time off my real job to do all that. So yeah.
Hey, I'm just glad I don't have to work every single day next week. So that's play.
There you go.
Speaking of that, wait, did you read Fall of X-Men? By the way,
no.
Fall of the House of X.
Oh,
so it's over now. Like,
yeah. Is it good?
Oh, really?
It's over. Yeah, Orchid just failed.
Orchid fails?
The whole issue just them fighting Nimrod. They beat him. Once he beat, everything turned off.
So Krakoa's officially gone.
No, Krakoa's back. Apocalypse saved it, but like they're not going to be on the island.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess we could just go over on our next live. So, yeah.
So I got like a couple books that I got to talk about next week, and one of them is a DC book because the finale.
Green Lantern.
Alan's got Green Lantern.
So much stuff came out this week. That
lots
Rogue
of
Sun,
Blood Hunt,
Ultimate Black Panther.
Blood Hunt issue 2 came out.
Yeah, Blood
Superior Spider-Boy.
How about 6 Spider-Man books came out this week? Wait, 6 Spider-Man books came out this week.
And we're going to talk about at least 2.
I heard Skull.
We're talking about 3 of them. I'm talking about Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, dude, I was going to buy that until I saw that $10 price tag on it. I'm like, nope, not getting it.
Yeah, I just read it online.
Okay.
I want to talk about my 3 books, but if I have to hold back on one of them, I know which one I want to hold back on. But
okay.
Nah, we'll put your stuff before mine. I'll say Spider-Man for last, so we can go.
Because one of them's a Blood Hunt book, which I feel like me and Cryptid can go back and forth on. Because I'm reading the red cover, you're reading the white cover.
Yep.
And then I want to talk about Alan Scott, and then I want to talk about I Heart Skull Crusher issue 3 because I'm excited.
Nice. But we'll talk about all that stuff later and discuss it. But anyway, let's talk about the main topic. You guys want me to start the show?
Yes, please.
Okay. Welcome to Comic Phanatic as we discuss X-Men 97. You're here with me, Cryptid Seeker 415. Yay, Cap found a shield. It took 4 episodes, but yay, he found it.
Jake
That's
Tylenol.
disrespectful.
And I'm here to educate you to read your Bibles more than your textbooks.
I can't believe you said that. H Comics 3685. I don't even feel like doing some funny tagline. Go, Witch.
I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim. Pronouns they, he, and Magneto was right.
Someone here is
read my name. I want you to read my name.
And then now we have a special guest who I bothered enough to join us for the day.
Yes. Hello. I'm Chrono. Also known as Richter on TikTok. So happy to be here.
Wait, you're Richter X?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh my God! There's more of them. How many Richters are there?
But you know what? But you know what?
Overrun with Richters.
But together, we form the Phanatics with our guest, and we are here to talk about X-Men.
Yes, we're talking
Mhm.
about.
Wait,
We're
wait.
talking about the
I have a
gayest
question.
show
Is it the
ever.
same Rick? Is it the same Richter
No,
though?
so my
Like,
name Richter is Richter, based off of the Castlevania characters.
and he's
Chrono
the
over
X-Men.
here is Richter, like the mutant, Rictor.
Yes.
Question: do either of you two have the last name Madrix?
No,
No, thank God.
Just asking.
thank the gods.
Just asking. All
No.
right. You have to be a true X-Men fan to get that reference, audience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh God.
Okay. Hmm. But
Anyways,
anyway, yeah. The way
I
we
heard a
start this.
Go
rumor. Hey Jake, I heard a rumor, and I want you to ask me what the rumor is.
I'm gonna ask you what the rumor is. What is the rumor?
Like I heard we had socials. Is that true?
Oh my God. Do we?
Yeah, we do.
What did you hear those socials were, Witch?
Yeah, so I heard that you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the first thing you can do to prove this rumor.
Okay.
And you can also follow us on Twitter at Phanatics69, you know? But if you don't care about that, you just want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U. And if you also want to follow me on TikTok and what was it? Instagram, you can follow me at witch_of_Jotunheim, where I will be posting some art soon. You're gonna have to figure out what that is. Ooh. But anyways,
What about the secret place?
Don't worry about that because Austin, you are a wall with bright blue eyes, so you're not gonna be that hard to find.
Okay.
Encrypted, you know how to summon cryptid.
Just pledge allegiance to an eagle 3 times and you'll summon me, audience.
That's not the full thing, but well, whatever. And
Yeah,
then
it's
Jake,
a lie. He just make sure y'all can't call him.
Jake, last week said he was chilling out with Apocalypse for some reason. You want to explain that?
We got talking.
He's weird.
We got talking, and I'm kind of cool with the boy. We good.
Yeah,
Wow.
Apocalypse is pretty chill for the most part. If you can
Yeah,
get on
he turns evil because a woman turns him down. That's literally the story.
Yeah, but he's a bit more reasonable. He's a bit more reasonable to hit up than Cassandra Nova.
We
but
all
also,
That's fair.
So you tell me Apocalypse is Obito.
Basically.
That's his first love, bro. That's his first love. Man,
but also, I heard our guest also has socials. So if you want to those real quick,
tell us more.
I do. Okay, so my TikTok is RichterX. Twitter is, and also Insta are also both RichterX4. And I have a Tumblr, Chronoline. Sure.
You gotta follow. You have to follow me on Tumblr so that we can just be nerds.
Oh my gosh, love it. Comic Tumblr is coming back.
Yeah, follow my example audience and follow our lovely guest.
Of course.
Yes.
But in the meantime,
I'm not gonna believe Tumblr just thing. By the way, I'm not gonna believe that's still happening.
In the meantime, let us talk about the sinister 3-parter X-Men '97 finale.
College means death.
We're gonna get copywritten.
Yeah, for real. No, for real. They don't play. They don't play over that.
They don't play.
Listen, since we all, I think, share the same general thoughts, but maybe in different ways, I think we should all take turns in order of the last person to introduce themselves to the first person. So that means our guest shall go first.
Okay. So overall, the last 3 episodes I thought were pretty good. They were jam-packed with stuff. It went by super quick. I don't know. So mileage varies for me about the things that they took from the comics and kind of just plopped them in some scenes that like they didn't really have the context for.
Thank you.
But overall, I think it's like it all came together. Like there weren't any plot holes or anything like that. So like besides like just like context from certain scenes missing, like the biggest one I was thinking of was like the adamantium ripping out scene at the end. But
I'm glad I had to see it.
Yeah. So that's like my biggest problem. But besides that, everything else I liked.
That pretty much tracks.
Next,
I guess I'll go next if you're done.
Oh yeah.
So I agree with you with your points, but I also brought this up before my Wi-Fi wanted to act up for some reason the first time, and what I do like about this show, like more specifically than like say most MCU products nowadays, is that it shows that the people working on it actually do care about these characters and about these comics and everything. And honestly, the fast pace of it all, honestly, I don't mind all that much. It's because like it gets basically the gist of what the original like thing was, the original plot line, like going through all of the original Inferno run, like with Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey. Like in the comics, that shit took years. Here it took like 30 minutes. And honestly, I don't have a lot of mental capacity to read 3 years worth of comics just to figure out that this one chick's a clone, And like, not everyone can agree with me on that, and that's okay, but I don't care. But also another thing is and some people might disagree with me on this too, but another thing I like is that sometimes they would give a plot line from one character in the comics and give it to another person in the show, which I'll get more into later. But Rogue is a good example of that, and like I said, I'll get into that later. But I do really like how these last 3 episodes just paced out. E for Extinction and another plot line that is losing me at the moment, but like, fuck you, Charles
The
Xavier.
no tolerance, Operation Zero Tolerance.
Yeah,
is it Fatal Attractions too?
I think so.
Yeah, Fatal Attraction.
That's the metal ripping out.
The main gist was
Yeah.
Operation Zero Tolerance, and they stole some from Fatal Attraction, which is like the Magneto fight in what happened to Wolverine.
Yeah. Like going back to it, they gave a Colossus plotline and gave it to Rogue because, like, as you guys know, Colossus isn't really in the show yet, so someone had to get the being disillusioned because of Charles Xavier bullshit to someone. It just so happened to go from a Russian to a Southern girl. Anyways, yeah, that's my point for right now. I'll get more into
The
it
one
later.
time you wanted to be a white man.
Who is also a communist.
All right.
I guess it's my turn. I enjoyed it. I had a problem with the show before the final 2 episodes, and the final 2 episodes kind of fixed a lot of that. Funny enough, but like the main things, the fast pace, while it was good, I do think it hurt some scenes overall because like a lot of scenes lack impact when you go from one scene to the next one. Like Xavier is live, yeah. You see the mule's been lying to you. Also, I'm about to kill the world. Like hold on, bro. You just told us.
Agree.
We ain't get time to like back your plan yet. That's like give us a minute to breathe. And other than that, I do think adding fatal attractions and certain other elements from other stories help the overall plot line a little bit. Cause it fit here, though the context and what it leads to feels weird once you see the final scenes of the episode of the season.
Right.
Where it's like you know what you're gonna do like Feral Wolverine back in like ancient Egypt. Like what the fuck? That's
we'll get into spoilers later.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of stuff y'all set up here that, based on how this season ended, can't be paid off to like the end of the next season, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Other than that, I think they did pretty good overall with everything. I like the villain, I like the X-Men besides the 2 choices they made, which they don't have to explain to me. And I appreciate Scott a lot more. I was always a Scott Summers like enjoyer, but the way he handled himself in the final episode really brought his character back around for a lot of people, and it really showed. Yeah. It really did something for me personally. I guess the best way I can say it. But that's all I'm gonna say right now.
I like how they gave more of the focus from Wolverine to Scott, and I feel like a lot of people can agree with me on that.
Yeah.
Because like Marvel made Wolverine overrated, so having him have a back seat for a little bit, but still being like a main character, like I don't know, I like that.
Yeah, he still had his moment, but
and it's easier on the voice actor. too. So
Yeah, that he needs all the help he can get, based on what I heard.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
Next.
All right. So when I started this show, really enjoyed it. When we got to the episode before the two-parter, I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was a three-parter.
Three-parter.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying before the last two parts. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
When we got to those parts, I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I might hate the X-Men as a brand. But
Yeah.
Well,
I was in the same situation. I won't lie to you.
But
Wow.
then the finale, the final part, the final episode, I was like, oh, that's why I like the X-Men. All right, okay. It's not
I think
perfect.
Scott saved a lot of stuff.
Scott saved my love for the X-Men, but it's not perfect. It doesn't do everything I want it to do. And to be fair, I said this at the beginning. The things I want from X-Men, an X-Men TV show, I didn't expect to be present in this specific show because it's based off the '90s show, which was never that. I mean, it talked about issues people didn't want to, that weren't normal to talk about at the time, but they weren't really nuanced, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, but that said, I was getting concerned because the show was starting to do things that I could see reflected in online, where people were starting to have this kind of dangerous rhetoric. But even the show goes against that rhetoric by the end. So, and I did enjoy my time with the characters. I did enjoy how every character had their own motivation. There were things I didn't like about the finale and the series overall that I think we need to talk about if we're going to continue the series going forward. The romance plot lines specifically, but
this is why we need an Alpha Flight thing, because then
Yes.
we can have all the relationships, all the drama, all the failures. Anyways, this is why we need an Alpha Flight thing, or just give me Alpha Flight characters and I'll be okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I think the finale was great. I like how this show feels like you're watching like the old show, but if it was like they made a movie about it. Like there's a long movie basically about this team.
Yeah.
The Snakes of the Heart before. I think everything's great. The animation's great. Like I said, some problems here and there we'll get into as time goes on, but I enjoyed the show by the end of it, and that's the best thing you could say. So
Nice. Well, I guess all that's left is me. Well, audience, as the oldest person here, I could say that I actually grew up watching the X-Men or the animated series as each episode was
Fucking
coming
weirdo.
out. Hey, I'm an OG, all right. I literally found my old X-Men '97 lunchbox a couple weeks ago when I was from the '90s. The X-Men the animated series, is what it was called. But
we're calling it X-Men '92 for the first show, and then X-Men '97 for this one.
Gotcha.
Just to help the audience be clear of what we're talking about.
Gotcha. I'll refer to it by its OG name, the animated series. But like many others, I was like a little bit worried when they made the promise that this is going to feel like a continuation of the original series. Like, because I've had experience with other franchises that dealt with it, and when they said this is going to feel like it's going to be a continuation of the original series, audience promise. This is for the fans, promise. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Kevin Smith, He-Man season 1.
Ooh, that's
but but in this, I was surprised. I liked it. It did feel like a spiritual continuation of it. If anything, it being in a modern setting allowed it to get away with things that couldn't have happened in the '90s, like people getting pierced or stabbed, or even more deep topics being explored in this series. So yeah, I hope it keeps the momentum. And if you really do plan on continuing on of other animated series like Spider-Man, I hope you keep the same promise you made to this and make it feel like it's an actual continuation of that series, like it's season 6.
As of right now, they said they don't plan to do that or any
They
of
don't
that right now.
plan. Well, if so
Yeah.
I
hope they do a continuation of X-Men Evolution.
Yes, I agree.
Your X-Men show, yes. Sorry, to you.
Yeah. I mean that was
like if I was to watch X-Men cartoons when I was like growing up, mine would probably be Wolverine and the X-Men, but Evolution probably.
Probably it
Yeah.
depends on what you want more. You want more combo style Wolverine, but I think it's Evolution was better overall.
Evolution.
Yep.
Evolution is
Great.
closer to what I wanted from the X-Men show than I think any of the other X-Men shows
Great.
were. So
Great
Fair.
animation and all that good stuff, you know. So
um,
audience, as a person who was doubtful of this series being good, and I can say I was thankfully wrong.
Cryptid,
Great.
you're doubtful of a lot of things. Don't
For
get
good
me started
reason.
with what you thought about Weapon X-Men before it even came out.
To be fair, that makes it a big deal when you like stuff.
Yeah, and I was right about what happened to Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly Captain America run. So yeah, so
I think.
But you were wrong about Weapon X-Men.
So I think since we brought up X-Men Evolution, I kind of wanted to bring that up into like why I was kind of down about the series until it saved itself. One of the things I've argued since the very first episode of the show is that I don't like how, at least in X-Men shows, I've talked to some people online who've like set me straight that in the X-Men comics there are comics that address the problems I have with X-Men when I look at it as like the TV show lens. X-Men Evolution kind of addresses the concern that you would have if mutants did exist. It's like, well, yeah, mutants do exist, but like we also got to remember, and they should have rights, but we also got to remember these are people who naturally have powers, and if human beings can be naturally shitty, so can mutants. So X-Men Evolution, they had a whole arc about, well, how does that look if we have to integrate that in society? One of my favorite seasons is when the X-Men get their identities outed, and so they have to go to human school, but everyone's like hates them, so it becomes like this whole like racial integration parallel that's really smartly done, and it's not so cookie cutter black and white, and that's kind of what I like in X-Men when we have that bigger topic, when they can be an allegory for these other minority groups, but they're not exactly one-to-one because they aren't the same. At X-Men 97, my problem is that you never have that argument. It's just that like the humans are scared of mutants, but they shouldn't be. You just got to get over it. I'm like, not inherently. I'm sorry. You got Magneto going around threatening to kill world leaders, and like,
I mean, you get two for a change.
I try to commit genocide by the end of the show.
Yeah, that was my problem. Like you said, because like what he did in episode 2 or episode 1, and what led to them going behind their back, like, yeah, maybe we should invest more in the Sentinel, which led to the situation, which led to him trying to kill everyone again. So it's like you're just stacking each other up on each other at this point.
And Bastet makes a great point that never gets addressed. And when he says the reason for his plan, he's like, the mutants. I think someone's like, well, what are mutants going to do to you? Like, even if mutants are all fine, like, no, mutants aren't all bad. Like, we can integrate society fine. And he's like, not really, because to be honest, at the end of the day, a teleporter could take over a taxi driver's job easy. Okay, you have speedsters. Even powers just outclass humans naturally. So even if as mutants grow, humans are just going to have nothing left in society for them. And that's an actually interesting question. How do you integrate a race of beings with powers that just make them better than another race of beings? Is that
imagine going to McDonald's and Quicksilver's at the cooking? It's like he's doing every job.
I highly doubt Quicksilver will be at a fucking
not Quicksilver.
No, I'm not Quicksilver. I just mean a speedster.
Right.
I don't think any speedster would want to work at McDonald's.
If a speedster,
the point is getting a job that they can do easy and get paid.
Right. It's a
and take over. That's over.
It's a scary idea. I did talk to somebody on YouTube, and I forgot his name, but he was a good guy. He was arguing against me, but he made a bunch of points that like I was like, oh yeah, I can see that, but he couldn't argue against this point. And that's kind of the stuff that like I worry about when people just flat out say that mutants are the same as like immigrants or black people or Hispanics or LGBTQ. They can be those things, but they aren't one-to-one.
No, and that's what makes the X-Men so great. It's because they're not a one-for-one.
They don't. Yeah, but I wish that was addressed more in cartoons. Like I said, X-Men Evolution does it to an extent, not 100%, but it does it, and I like the show for that. This show doesn't, and you never really quite get an answer to what does an equal world look like for mutants and humans. You just got to accept that, like, yeah, humans shouldn't be scared of mutants at all. So I was kind of mad at the series for when they were just making the humans seem like they were completely unreasonable. And then And then there was also the sentiment of Magneto, which I really didn't like. When people were starting to say Magneto was right. And if that's true, that can be true, but it also means that the X-Men serve no purpose as a story. The whole point of Stan Lee making the X-Men was that to show that different people can coexist in society. But if Magneto is right, then the X-Men as a story fails.
Oof.
And that's what I don't, that's
But
what I was getting worried about.
Also, like you know how a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Charles Xavier is like more of the Martin Luther King Jr. side of side of like this, and then also like Magneto is more like Malcolm X. Keep in mind, both Professor X and Magneto have really great points for wanting like peace and justice and everything for mutant kind, but they're also flawed in their judgment too. So that's why, like I brought up earlier before the call, so many problems would be solved if they just put aside their sexual tension for 5 seconds and work together.
Yeah, they're clearly gay for each other.
That's
At least
always
They're so gay for each other.
that's always been the problem with X-Men. Like realistically, if you switch goals right now, if Charles will lead the Brotherhood, he'll probably win. Like legitimately.
Yeah, and I know I'm not even going back to the comics. Like that's why Krakoa could have worked. Like it almost worked perfectly because they decided to work together, but there were flaws in their stuff.
And in the way they decided to go, and the way they tried to go to war with humanity wasn't just, oh, let's just go out there and fight, because at the end of the day you'll lose.
But
now, probably not in the comics.
Like,
but it's
at
like
the same time, when it came to why Magneto decided to declare war on humanity, like he literally witnessed like the deaths of like hundreds, maybe thousands of innocent people that he's sworn to protect, and he's like, I want to fight for the justice for these people who were murdered.
That's what I want to get into.
I agree, but the problem is, from his point of view, he knows it's Sebastian and a mutant who did that,
but that's
who made the main development, and the person who freed him to save the day was a human.
But I want to get into that because that's why I think where the series saved itself for me. Because at the end of the day, when they boiled down Magneto's motivations, they said like it was basically like, Magneto, you're just like really traumatized. It's not that what you're saying is invalid. Like mutants need to be protected. They can't just be like we can't just let humans run us over. That's clearly not the case. But like your way of doing things is motivated a lot by the trauma you experienced as a kid, and you're projecting that onto your worldview, regardless of if it's good or not. And you're winding up hurting mutants more than saving them, essentially. Because right now, as like improbable as it is, but basically in the context of this universe, the only mutant humans really have a problem with is Magneto.
Just
a cool guy.
Think about like like when it came to like the final episode, and I know I'm getting into spoilers, but we were gonna get into that anyway. So spoiler alert.
Just a spoiler alert.
You're literally watching a live stream where we talk about the last 3 episodes. But like literally before they decided to nuke like Asteroid M and everything, they didn't even think about like, oh, like who was there, like who was up there, like what was going on. They were just like, fuck you, we're just gonna nuke the place.
I mean, they're
to
just
be fair, like I said, these protocols are.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
They didn't realize what was keeping it up. So basically, because they decided to nuke Asteroid M, which I don't know if that was a reference in 616, but that was definitely a reference in Marvel Ruins. But we don't have to get into that today. That's for TikTok.
Oh, I know you're talking
literally,
about.
if you really think about it, they're the reason why all the X-Men are gone. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. Like, because they didn't actually like think about it. They just acted, and you can even see it on Steve's face, like Steve Rogers' face when they decided to actually go through with it. He was like, "Oh no, this ain't gonna end well." Does that make sense?
Yeah,
no,
but
I agree.
Go ahead. Oh, I was about to say, like, in the government's defense, they're just looking at this as Magneto, the one person who turned off power to the whole world. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, they kind of felt like they needed to take immediate action, no matter who would have been on that asteroid at that point, you know?
That wasn't at all. It's because specifically they're like, Magneto's a lunatic. They said to Xavier. So it's like they're overreacting to this situation without thinking clearly. Because they're scared of Magneto, who just showed that he can affect the world. This is the first like full on Omega level event by a mutant
Yeah.
in his timeline.
Hey, Tevia.
So it's
Hey,
not a good
Tevia.
case for anybody in this situation, really.
Yeah, the situation was nuanced in the sense where it's like, well, first off, I would have just sent Iron Man to go scout. Like, hey, are the X-Men doing good? If you don't come back in like an hour, 10 minutes, we'll kill that asteroid.
No, I was gonna bring it up later because this Iron Man has the house party protocol.
They
He could have
think about what was going to happen if that asteroid crashed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I was the president, I would have been like, hey, Iron Man, scout that shit out for me. And if like you're not back in 10 minutes, we're blowing that shit up. I don't care who's on it. I don't care what.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
Would have made sense
so,
to do.
But yeah, it was a nuanced situation. I understand why the president did what he did. It wound up being a dumb decision in the end. But you know,
well, to be fair, technically, from their point of view, they didn't lose anything.
Right. I guess not. I would say the day.
The X-Men aren't dead. The asteroid's gone. The Avengers might come home. You know, I think they're winning in their point of view.
Keep in mind, no one knows what happened to the X-Men. They just know that they just disappeared. They don't know if they're dead. They don't know if they're missing. They don't know what's happening. Besides the people who were teleported away.
No, I agree. I'm just saying I don't think the government overall would care. Yeah. But it's bad. It's really bad.
But yeah, I guess to wrap up my overall point was like them boiling down Magneto's intentions, showing that he is wrong because he's not the right guy to give the message that he's giving, basically. Them correcting the right, because I remember there was a lot of YouTubers, like one YouTuber, shout out to him, he's a good YouTuber, but I didn't like his takes on this. Classic Man D just blatantly saying Magneto was right, as Magneto's plan would have hurt mutants and humans alike, essentially. Yeah. And that
he would have not been able to get all the mutants on that rock before he did that.
Keep in mind, just getting off of Magneto, because you guys are only talking about Magneto and you're not really thinking about Charles's side of things.
We're going to get into it. We have to finish talking about Magneto.
Hold on, I want to get into this because, like, I talked about this to Jake earlier, kind of. But Jake, remember when I told you to look up the tolerance paradox?
Yeah.
So that you can apply that to here, and why Charles Xavier's logic is also flawed.
I mean, it's an argument, but I'm saying, well, I was getting into this one point, and then I can get into this. Let me finish this.
Don't worry, which I had a whole thing for Charles stupid ass. Okay, I had it.
Fuck you, Charles.
But I think, but like I said, I like that the show addressed that, like, why Magneto is wrong simply because his judgment is just clouded by trauma. So he's not really even the best to lead this scenario. And that's good because, again, as I said at the beginning, if the X-Men are wrong, if Magneto is right, then the X-Men as a series doesn't need to exist. Because that's basically the whole point.
It's inherently a series that would never work out the way they wanted to.
Right. But that's basically it. But that's why I like the series in the end. It fixed that problem for me. But yeah, my point's gone on long enough. But
let's talk about Charles.
Guys, before we get to that, Chrono, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah,
I was just thinking, like, when I was watching the last episode especially, I was like, I don't really see, like, the analogy working out so well here, because he does remark when he was in, like, the mental bar thing, he was like, oh, you know, if sub-mutants die or whatever, like, when I'm doing, like, this genocide against humanity, like, that's okay, like, they're too weak. Now, like, how does that work with, like, the whole racism, like, against racism allegory that they have, you know, like, that doesn't really, like, make a lot of sense. So, like, I don't know if, like, you know, the Magneto is right, like, take, like, I don't know if we can, like, say that he's, like, this, like, paragon of, like, virtue and whatnot.
He's not 100% right, but he's not 100% wrong either.
True.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring it up. Because if your whole plan to save mutants is to sacrifice mutants, bro, you're kind of, you know, being counterproductive.
Right, and then, like, he set out the EMP, and of course that, like, killed a bunch of mutants too. Like, there's no way it didn't.
So that's all I'm telling you. Like, from the humanity point of view, anybody who's, like, in the hospital just died.
Right.
Yeah. To quote,
pacemakers went out. Like, all that stuff went out. Everyone alive. Planes flew out the sky. People millions died. for from their point of view, like a few people turned to robots, like they don't know the full situation, or even if they do, it don't seem that big a deal compared to how many people died for what he did. It's the problem.
No, Aunt May was in the hospital.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Tevye, you get your wish. Aunt May died in this universe, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I
let's
wanted.
go to
Magneto, to quote a strong woman from DC's franchise, how many of us do you have to kill in order to keep us safe? You know?
But
You
now
know?
we can get on Charles. Now that we fully evaluated Magneto.
let's go the full opposite end.
Let's
Toxic positivity or idealism.
For real, like he thinks that like going back to what I was saying earlier with the tolerance paradox. So basically, in basic people terms, is if you tolerate the intolerant, that's gonna lead to your extinction. And I think it's part of the reason why it's called tolerant. Like the episodes are called that way, kind of. I don't know if that was what the showrunners were thinking when they named it that, but that's all I was able to think about. And so basically that's why Charles's ideas are flawed as well, because he's assuming that if we just like try to create peace and everything with like the humans and everything, they're going to we're just all going to live in peace and happiness, and that's just idealism. And like, don't get me wrong, we all love we all love to have like that idealist mindset, but you have to like look at the reality. And that's why like Magneto's points work well against Charles for the most part, if that makes sense, because Charles is flawed because he's too much of an idealist and not thinking what the humans could do to the mutants if they allowed the humans to like just do whatever the fuck they were doing and planning on hurting the mutants more, if that makes any sense. I know I'm just kind of low-key rambling.
No, I get
but like,
yeah.
But like, what am I thinking?
Magneto?
No.
They both put you in two like sad.
Oh no, we lost Austin.
I was.
So basically, yeah, the reason, like, if the mutants kept allowing the humans to keep being intolerant towards them, like harming them, it's just gonna lead to the mutants' downfall, because they allowed the intolerant to win. Does that make sense? Like, in simple terms?
I was gonna say you'd be right in the universe of X-Men Evolution, where it's like if Charles blindly rolls over, then because there's like okay, let me finish this point, then I'll go back to 97. In the world of X-Men Evolution, if Charles is just blindly followed, then yes, mutants
Sorry,
will
Austin's
eventually.
name was great. Sorry, I like his name. It's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, the world of X-Men Evolution, if Charles is not like corrected and his ways blindly followed, then yes, eventually, like, I could see humans taking over. In the world of 97, again, the only mutant villain that we really see is Magneto, and that's why
and Sinister.
Sinister.
Yeah, but like, Sinister doesn't. I think anytime.
Here's the thing, though, about Sinister. Sinister's not a mutant.
Yeah,
he just steals people's X genes, so he's not a mutant.
Also, I think.
Well, it depends on which Sinister they did. I thought they were doing like the X-Men comic thing.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, I don't think
had a
Sinister
mutant version
ever done anything publicly bad. All this stuff about Sinister has been stuff the X-Men know about. That's not something public. Bastion's thing is public, but people don't know what that is. They don't know what the hell's going on with him. And so, like I said, in Evolution, though, there are multiple villains that have nothing to do with Magneto. So it does kind of raise the question where it's like, yeah, humans are gonna get a bit more like, yeah, let's just try to steamroll the mutants out of here. You know what I mean? But like, in the world of 97, it's like, if we just got rid of this one guy, I'm pretty sure even when the show starts, mutants and humans are pretty okay. Until Magneto shows up, they're like, that guy's not allowed in the club. That's basically what it winds up being, essentially. So I don't know. I just don't think.
Even.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm wondering like where the Brotherhood is, just going off of like what you were saying about.
There were Sabretooth apparently. There were Sabretooth.
Sabretooth showed up in the comics, by the way.
Yeah, he's leading the Marauders, which is the Brotherhood and some other people together.
Yeah. Audience, you gotta keep in mind, like I know a lot of people wanted their favorite mutants to be in the show, but there's only so many mutants you could put in a
so
span
many
of one.
mutants.
That's a problem with
I was not
X-Men.
expecting
Yeah.
to see like I was not expecting like a Forget Me Not cameo unless he
Mhm.
was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Did anyone? You guys got that right? You guys
yeah, I know him. Yep.
He was there the whole time, guys. You just didn't see him.
Yeah, pulling a Spider Boy, eh? But
Shut up!
guys,
No one cares about Spider Boy.
Gotcha. Before we move on, I just want to read our commenter Tevia's comments, a couple of his comments. Yeah, it's technically a reference to Grant Morrison's X-Men run. Honestly, both sides are right, but both sides are wrong. It's a never-ending cycle. Let's see. Indeed, and honestly, I'm curious if we're going to get Onslaught set up in season 2. Oh yeah, we'll definitely have thoughts for the
I've
future.
dealt with enough Onslaught for a lifetime.
The
I mean,
problem,
they already did in the first part. They might well finish it. The problem is where, well, how fast they still be rushing.
Because we're
Onslaught could be literally the first episode, for all we know.
Like we have to set up Apocalypse first before we can do Onslaught.
Onslaught, for all we know, might be the season finale. It's just Apocalypse getting there. And they're like, oh, Apocalypse, we need your help to fight evil Charles. Or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
like I said, I just think this show, at least this season, I have to go back and watch the original show. But I think this season doesn't really do a good job of like fleshing out the discussion of humans and mutants coexistence to the point where it's like at this point, like it's I don't see any reason why Charles is wrong inherently, because like again, if you just got rid of Magneto, the problem goes away. It seems like.
But keep in mind, Charles doesn't want Magneto to get hurt or anything like that.
He doesn't.
Yeah. That's the main problem. When Mutants does crimes, he doesn't want. Magneto can do the crazy stuff we just saw him do. And Rogue switched teams to join the guy who's about to kill the planet. And they're going to be welcome home in the next season. No problem. Well, Rogue, no. To be fair, Rogue's situation is more understandable. But I'm just saying, even if humanity wanted to do something against Magneto for what he did, Charles was like, I already beat him in a fight. It's okay. You don't need to do anything to him.
Can I bring up something, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on this, but can we like low-key agree that Rogue got groomed by Magneto?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been agreeing with that. That was the first thing we said when we saw it. It's just gross. This nigga like 100 years old.
Creepy.
Oh, like the scene where we see like Rogue and Magneto's children on the boat. I was like, why the fuck is Rogue here? Like, it should just be his children, and like, or like his wife, or like whoever, not Rogue.
I'm gonna say something.
We're mostly talking about the last 3 episodes, but yeah. So I want to go back to it, like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to Rogue, real quick. Sorry if we're going all over the place, but like I said earlier, there was a plot line in the X-Men comics where Colossus kills someone, based off my own memory, and he starts to become disillusioned with Charles's idea, and like joins like the Brotherhood or something like that. I can't remember the exact plot line, but it was basically the gist was that. So basically they took that plot line because Colossus is not a major player in this show, not yet, by the way. So they gave that plot line to Rogue, and I feel like it worked so well for her as well. So honestly, I feel like that works when it came to Remy's death. Regardless of the Magneto stuff anyways. And plus, like, I don't know why they decided to do the Rogue Magneto plot line. I'm like, this is not Age of Apocalypse. This is the X-Men 9, like,
I like
that is one thing that I would consider a retcon, because like in none of the original like 5 seasons of X-Men was it ever stated that Rogue, she had collisions with Magneto, and at no point did she say, "Oh yeah, we had history together before." Romantic.
But no, I like the plotline overall. I liked Rogue's how they did it and how they use it. I don't have a problem with it because it was really for character development for Rogue and Gambit respectively, and it was done in a really nice way. I liked Rogue's thing where like she's like, I see everybody else in these relationships, and I just want that. That's basically her problem.
Oh my god!
Going off of that, I saw a post online where it was like Rogue and Gambit was love with no intimacy, and Rogue and Magneto was intimacy with no love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there
That
you
kind of
go.
works.
The thing with like Rogue is like, listen, I have these powers and I just
The
can't.
problem is they show that Magneto does love her. He just didn't love him like that.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
I mean, like for Rogue, for Rogue, it's like her thing is like I just want to have a normal relationship. I see everybody. Listen, she's in the X Mansion. Everyone's fucking but her. Everyone's getting someone else.
Everyone's in a triangle. Like, you know?
I'm just saying, like, for her, so when she sees Magneto, I'm just like, a guy I can actually physically touch, physically have a relationship with. Listen, Remy, I'm sorry, but like, I really want this. And then for her to realize, like, actually, I don't. I love being with Gambit more. I thought that was a really good arc for her. And also, it also led to Gambit. Also, you saw a lot of self-respect from Gambit, too, where he kept chasing after it until he was like, you know what? Like, we can still be friends, but like, if this is what you want, like, I'm not gonna be part of it.
Fight you on this.
I'm gonna fight you over this, whatever.
And then literally the same episode he dies.
Yeah, and so you know, it was a great moment for Gambit and everyone cheered for him. But yeah, like I said, you can give Rogue shit for how she treated Gambit, but at the same time, it was a very human story, and I appreciated it for that regard.
Cool.
So,
I kind of wish like we didn't always just do like the Rogue can't touch people storyline, because like she's way more than that in the comics.
Yeah,
it is what it is, I guess.
that's fair.
Again, like, you know, there's only so many stories you could put into this, and they obviously have to require a lot of the X-Men to have their storylines tied in a triangle, you know? So it is what it is.
Simplified. It's just like the whole thing with like, oh, she can't touch him. It's like in the comics, like there were times where like his powers counteracted hers, just like Magneto did. So it's all kind of relative.
There you go.
There's this whole thing about the inhibitor collars. Like, why couldn't she just wear that?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I mean that's how they got married.
The thing is, they just introduced a weapon that can take away powers. You think if she really felt like that, she would have jumped that situation like in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally collars you could do. Well, you don't have to use a collar. I mean, you can make it into a ring or a bracelet, but something to
you might like that.
subdue your immune powers.
I want to bring this up. That's not 97's fault alone, because that was the original series when they were trapped on Genosha the first time, and it was owned by humans.
Oh, the Slave Island episode?
Yeah, they put inhibitor collars on them, so she already knew they existed.
Okay, so don't make collars, make a bracelet, make something stylish at least, you know.
Keep in mind, when it came to the Slave Island episode in the first show, in the original show, the only reason why they took off the collars, like why the human people took off like the collars or whatever, was so that they can build this fucking dam. I was gonna say dam. But like, but that was the only reason. But most of the time, they just kept it on. So like, even if Rogue didn't know about the collars at that moment in time, she would have known about it from like Storm, Jubilee, or Gambit, or like any other people that happened to be on that fucking island at that point.
Yeah, but like I just want to bring it up because it still is a plot hole you could break up. It was introduced in the original series, and she didn't say anything for some reason. So it was,
and they're trying to stick to the 90s story, so a lot of stuff that without her powers is a little bit after that, sadly. And better her evolution of powers, because her powers got way stronger after that.
Yeah, that's a good counterpoint, Austin. Yep.
Yeah, but
I mean that's one thing I appreciate about the show, that like, you know, they're trying to stick to storylines that were around the 90s times and not past it, you know.
That's what you were saying about the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that they brought that back. You wanted stories from like
they got lucky.
That's what they still were trying to do, though. That's a whole different thing.
They got lucky this time. Like, I'll tell you what Marge told Homer when he got lucky and not screwing up that vacation. You got lucky, bub. Don't screw it up. Like,
I did want to bring this up.
Bro, stop worrying about it.
Which you brought up how the show being fast paced didn't bother you, which is fine. It didn't really bother me, but like, there was one thing it did bother me with Rogue, because she leaves the X-Men to go basically like genocide a lot of people on Earth with Magneto.
Well, she didn't really genocide people. She just mostly beat the shit out of people.
No. Magneto said he was going to kill everyone on the planet, and she said, "Yeah, I'm joining your team."
Yeah, and the moment
I thought you were talking about like episode 6. Never mind.
No.
But the moment Magneto was knocked the fuck out, and so was Charles, she turns around, she's like, "So I'm on the X-Men, right?"
That's the first thing she did. It was like, Oh yeah, but when
I
the
do
situation
agree.
gets hard, I always count on the X-Men. It's like shut the fuck.
I do agree that was like really quick. But other than that part, I didn't mind how fast paced it was because like we had 10 issues. We had to get this stuff done quickly.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with it overall. Like I think it reads well for the most part. But that was the one example where
I
I was
think
like,
it takes the impact out of some moments, and
Mhm.
I really hope next season they talk about this because like Charles just forgiving everybody instantly for everything is fucking weird. But it's
Right.
like a huge thing. You're going to kill the planet 5 seconds ago, okay? Like before you step back in the mansion, we have to like at least have a talk.
And let's forgive
Yeah,
Bastion too, like going off.
no, we
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they were
Charles
like
just
so
sees the
down to
good
like
in people.
save Bastion and everything. Like, okay, I
I
get
actually
it.
love that. That was
They're
saved it
following
for me.
Scott was following Charles's like
Yeah.
word on that,
It-
you know. But like sometimes people are lost causes, and not to say that like Bastion was a lost cause, but like he died.
He
Like
literally wasn't though. That's the point of the scene. He cared about his mom. They were going to save him. He jumped to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he was
I
like,
think
"Fuck you."
I think it's.
I
I
mean,
think
I do think.
he jumped to save himself, but was he going to be a good
No.
guy?
Mm-hmm.
It's confirmed. He was trying to be saved.
Oh, okay.
Like the director, people asking the director, he said it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there does come a point of no return for characters. Like in Bash's case, once you committed genocide like that, I mean, is there really any forgiveness, no matter what you do?
No. I'm fine. You don't have to kill him, but I don't think they're going to let the man run free. He will come back, face trial or something. They just weren't going to let him die.
Krypton, fuck genocide. All the things he manipulated those people into doing.
Right.
To become
like he committed several war crimes.
Yeah.
He committed several war crimes.
This man took money from the world and then said, "Oh yeah, you said you want to build a robot? I'm gonna go commit genocide with it." That's crazy.
It's like, come on, just make the robots. Make the robots like everyone else does. Like, make a Nimrod. Shit.
But yeah, I did. Oh,
Wait, I'm glad you brought Nimrod up because Bastion apparently is like 4 Sentinels past Nimrod. Did you know that? They said it in the show. So he's supposed to be Nimrod is fucking up Apocalypse. This dude's supposed to be way more of a threat than he was.
It's like why even make these like human sentinel hybrids when you could just bring in Nimrod?
Because
saw what Nimrod could do.
Because guys, he is the future incarnate.
Okay? He says that, but he wasn't really though. He felt worse than Nimrod if you know Nimrod.
But
at least like Nimrod won't use human civilians for his fucking schemes. He's just gonna pull up to the Hellfire Gala and wreak havoc. Because that's what he did.
Yeah, but I did.
What happened?
But I did like the scene where Scott talks to Bastion because it's the closest I can get from the show from the conversation I want.
Yeah.
Where he's telling him like, listen, like the truth is we are the future. That's just how evolution works. But like we don't have to face it with anger or anything. We can be cool. Like we can just like we don't have to be enemies.
No, I thought Bastion was gonna bring up the fact that you realize like the man, he used to always bring this up in the movies. It was like, yeah, when the Neanderthals came, they wiped out where the fuck before them, and then now it's time for us to wipe out humanity like y'all wiped out the Neanderthals. Oh, I hate that speech. And then, but Cyclops' response was just, bro, just tough it out, bro. It's gonna be all right. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And like even Jean came around and was like, "Oh yeah, the humans are still having babies like every single day, dude. You're fine. Yeah. They're not going to be extinct anytime soon, unless like I don't know, global warming kills them all."
Well, unless it's something like Magneto.
Well, to be fair, Iceman can stop global warming, stop being a bitch about it.
True, but where is Bobby? Where the fuck is Bobby, huh?
Well, the extended conversation is like, yeah, but one of those kids grows up and has Omega level powers that can't be stopped and is evil. Then
no.
To be fair, when those stories happen, Xavier will wipe his mind or just have Wolverine kill him. They do that, have those moments.
But I'm saying like, what if the one that gets away? That's like always the fear.
And I get it. Yeah. It's always gonna be that threat of immune. You're gonna see your son to school. He's gonna be in class and then he's gonna instantly die. There's someone just awaken their powers for the first time. Right. Like, and then there's always gonna be an underlying fear. But I like the speech of. There's gonna have to be some give or take, moving forward.
Which was.
But I'm willing to outstand my hand first.
Yeah, which is what it should be. Really, it should just be like, listen, both of us are gonna have to make compromises. We'll figure it out. That's what I needed. But
And that's why I like them bringing Bastion's mother. So people don't know Zero Talent in the comics. You didn't find out Bastion's like backstory until like literally the end of it. It was a mystery all the way to the end. So getting to know his mom first and see his childhood and see that he still grew up relatively as a human helped kind of save his character for me a little bit. Because it helped,
It showed
especially helped
his
his turn.
humanity.
Yeah. Because while he's the villain, and he's rightfully hated for being so, it showed his humanity and showed that why he clings on and why he's doing it so much. Because the moment Cyclops bring up the mom and he's about to be crushed, he's like, "Oh, she's dead. That's fuck." He's in his face. Like he takes all of it hard, and he has to actually think about what he wants to do now. And
Keep in
I
mind,
really appreciate the little
he did
subtle
that to
stuff.
his own mother. He did that to his own mother. That ain't my fault.
To be
That's
fair, that was
Austin's
it.
fault.
He did that not thinking she would die. And it's like that you're an idiot.
Oh,
But
Austin.
I get it. What?
What? Which? What'd you want to say?
Oh, did which cut out?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I'm going to introduce a
No.
question to the audience, to the group and the audience as well.
Yep.
I'll start with our guests. All right, you still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you think Charles was in the wrong for putting Magneto on the X-Men the way he did?
See, I was like
I wish I
really
went first.
confused when that happened. Oh, do you want to ask them first? Sorry.
No, I wish I went first. Go ahead.
Wait. Oh, okay. So yeah, I was confused about like what happened in the first episode, like how he just had a will that it kind of happened similar in the comics. Mystique had what?
I'm back. Sorry, I
Oh.
got disconnected for a little bit.
Gotcha.
We'll catch you up in a
Okay.
second.
I was only gone for like 30 seconds.
But like it happened kind of similar in the comics where like Mystique found like a will after like Charles died, and it was like, oh yeah, like I'm his wife and all. It was like crazy, but it was like this is kind of similar to that, so it's like I can't be too mad about how that whole thing came about. But I think that he wasn't in the wrong for putting Magneto like leading the team, because he needed someone to lead the team, and he wanted Scott and Jean to go off on their own and have a family and all that stuff. So I think like, you know, even though they had such this rivalry and enemy relationship throughout the years, like he was like, okay, like, you know, you kind of agree with my dream to an extent, but you're way more radicalized. But maybe you could change if you're hanging around my team as much as possible.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptid, you
Please
go.
let me go.
I already know your answer. That's why.
Okay.
No. Because
I'm assuming you're talking.
Go ahead, Cordy.
Okay. What do I think?
Wait, it's about if Magneto joining team. If Charles letting Magneto lead the team was a good idea.
Oh, okay.
Okay. From my standpoint, no, because I think Storm could have been a valid candidate for leading the team after Cyclops and Jean are gone. I mean, this could have given her time to
She
shine.
did lead the team before. She has lead like several X-Men team before, so.
Yeah, exactly. So she has the credentials. I mean, heck, she was the leader of the Warlocks, remember? So she has leadership experience.
And also,
Right.
Going back to it, in the comics, Magneto has run the X-Men before. Like in the
Right.
first trial of
True,
Magneto,
but
he has done
true,
that.
but is it?
But
True,
which
but is that a wise decision?
Yeah, but this isn't a comics.
Do you think in this context of the show setup, that it was okay for Charles to leave Magneto in charge of the X-Men?
Yeah.
Regardless
I
of
don't
the
know.
comic.
He wanted a fucking
Yeah.
bird lady, dude. I don't care.
Let me go.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Well,
Austin.
from my standpoint, again, there was a better candidate, Storm. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you on that. Storm was a really good option.
Jake,
No, yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you know. Originally, I said no, but my whole standpoint changed. I would say yes, but the reason I would say, I think leading the team would have done him good. The problem is, for some reason, they waited a fucking year for Magneto to show up and say, "Oh, I'm the leader of the team."
Right. I
So it's like if you expected Scott and Jean to leave, you should have did it when they was ready to leave before you left.
Right.
Why the fuck did he wait a year? That's my problem with the timing.
I think
The situation is already fine. Everything's working out great, and then Magneto shows up.
Yeah, I think
They don't need you to lead now.
My answer is that I think it was a great idea, even with Scott and Jean aside, because like Well, except if you watch the final episode of X-Men, like the final scene of the original show, actually this kind of makes no sense, but like I can maybe justify it. But Xavier leaving Magneto in charge, I think, is kind of a brilliant move, because if Magneto thinks Charles is dead and Charles's dying will was like, "Hey, Eric, give it one shot, bro. Just give it one shot for me, just for me, bro."
But did he know he wasn't dead?
What? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's dumb. But like, in the context of the show, if you watch X-Men '97 by itself, you think that Charles is dead and they don't know better. But if you watch the finale of the original show, Magneto was there when Leandra took him and brought him to space. So it's kind of so they're all like, "Oh, Charles is dead," but they know he went to space. They don't may be back, but But yeah, no, I think that whole bit, I think the whole idea was just basically giving Magneto something to do, because obviously
It was a new purpose, right?
Yeah, it was a new purpose, because if Magneto doesn't have that purpose, he's just going to continue doing what he's doing anyway, and if he does that, well, then, problems can continue. So I think it was smart. I think even though they knew he was in space, Leandra did say that it did suggest that it might not work out anyway. She just said that she has a better option. So maybe after a year, maybe that's why they waited a year. Maybe it's like after a year, they're like, okay, he's dead. Like, he didn't come back. So
Nah, but even then, it's like if your plan was that I want them to do this so Scott and Jean can go live their life and the mutants go do what they want, then do it. Scott and Jean was about to leave at the end. They didn't leave because he died.
Right.
So like, you're full of shit. Like, you showed up. If they don't showed up then and said, I guess I'll switch teams to keep Charles Jean while he's gone, and then or something, I think it would have been okay. The problem is, the only reason it seems bad is because Magneto claims out publicly, like, "Oh yeah, I tried to kill the world multiple times. I'm leading the X-Men. What's up?" And it's like, bro, what the fuck? What do you expect humanity to do? Of course, like, people who hate mutants are going to show up at the courtroom to shoot you. At least they weren't like. I thought it was funny they weren't trying to kill him, because I expected it worse. They were just like, "No, we're going to take his powers away, and then it'll be it."
What did you say, what?
Some people try to kill Magneto while during the trial.
Yeah, but the main guy who they sent, the executioner for the Friends of Humanity, he was like, "Bro, these guns just take away powers."
Yeah, I remember when I was sad when Storm died, but when I finally got rid of the Storm, Storm lost their powers. But when I got past that, I was like, "Oh wait, holy shit, wait, that was all he was trying to do."
Yeah, they're gonna show up, they're gonna shoot Magneto. That was the goal, and then apparently they were gonna leave. Most likely they weren't, but that was the idea they had.
I'm just gonna.
And I was like, "That's not that bad." And then Magneto was like, "I blame all humanity for this. I will fuck everybody up if y'all mess with me again." So humanity's like, "Shit, he can kill all of us. We gotta take this nigga out." That's how it progresses.
Can we just say that Val Cooper was like the real one in this show? Like, when it came to like the mutant allies.
Oh, you mean that human that Magneto was gonna let die? Yeah.
She was goated.
I don't
And
know
even though the
about
comics,
that.
she's like a very intriguing character.
Well, what do you mean? What don't you know about that?
Just that, like, she kind of stood with Bastion until, like, she did let Magneto go. But she was like, no, because she, like, changed her mind, pretty much.
Well, she didn't think the genocide was going to happen. She just thought, like, Magneto just called it.
She even brought that up as well.
Even Dr. Doom brought it up. This dude's like, "Bro, what?"
Him, but...
Like, freaking
even Dr. Doom brought it up.
Even Dr. Doom was like, "Leave me out of this."
You're like, "Bro, I thought we were making robots. What's going on?" Yeah. If I wanted to genocide, I would just do it myself.
Doom is many things, but a racist he is not.
I like Zemo's standpoint. So let's see what you can do. So before I make a decision, like.
Yeah, I think the Scott stuff. The whole finale really kind of fixed everything. Problem I had, but I'm really interested in how everything they set up going to the future. So now we know, confirmed Morph loves Wolverine situation.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to stop turning into Jean when he does that. That shit's kind of weird.
He's doing what he can.
Turning Jean to do it is weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
He's doing what he can to win.
It's the only way.
He's doing what he can to win.
Morph was doing it to comfort Logan in that situation, and that was basically the only way that they were going to be able to confess their feelings to Logan, was if they took on the form of Jean.
And also,
no, I get it, but Logan's also unconscious, and he also did it earlier in the club in the episode 2 or 1.
But listen, he's just doing what they have to win. All right, that's all I'm saying. Whatever.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Me and Chrono talked about this earlier. We don't know if if Logan's gonna reciprocate those feelings because he's still obsessed with Jean or whatever, even though he does not have a chance, Logan. But it's
I think
come on, man.
I think that's a storyline
With
that's
how
worth.
much they've been focused on the 90s, I doubt they're going to actually pull that trigger.
Hmm.
And I think that's going to be the tragedy of Morph and what they do going forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just at least say that Morph had a great comeback against Miss Sinister at the end?
Yeah, the fact that they took the form of Mr. Sinister to try to get
I just
to get Bastion was a lot because Morph has a lot of trauma when it comes to Mr.
Yeah.
Sinister.
Oh yes.
I wanted to
That
bring
was
that
Moby
up. That's
Dick.
in the intro, and I thought they were going to do something with that, but they never give an episode. But
He's never actually scared of Sinister or have flashbacks or feel any fear besides the initial scene where the Goblin Queen situation happened.
They should have just taken the Roberto episode and just made that his Morph's episode.
Yeah, a Morph's episode.
Their episode. I'm sorry, I keep getting. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
but make that their episode. My bad.
Yeah. Again, it's just so much time can only be given to so many mutants. I would have liked to have seen that final battle between Morph and Sebastian, but I was satisfied by him basically, in your face, Sinister at the end. Sinister got the worst punishment. Sinister got the worst punishment of all. He lost
Not really.
He lost his 90s He lost his 90s body.
Yeah, for 5 minutes, he can fix that. You're talking to the guy who changes bodies all the time.
He was upset about it. Damn it!
Yeah, that's like Doom. That's like Doom getting mad. He had that one scar on his face and said, "Fuck it, I'm fuck up everything." Put the mask on.
That's like waking up. Yeah, that's like waking up with a beer gut and telling yourself, "Oh, I could just do a few ab rolls in a month. Give me a month. Maybe I'll do it." You don't know.
Yeah, but Sinister actually can though. That's not the same thing. He does it all the time.
Yeah, Sinister steals people's X genes all the time.
No, he changed bodies and everything. He has clones of clones of clones. You never know which one. The real Sinister died a long time ago. Comic.
Gotcha.
But what did y'all think about the fight scene?
I thought it was cool. I just think it was funny where Roberto hits Jubilee and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Thank you.
What the hell did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, he throws a giant fireball at her, and it's like, "Oh, my bad." And then gets mad. It gets like, "Don't hit me!" When she started attacking her back, you tried to kill her. That's fire, nigga. The fuck? What are you talking about?
Bro, dude. I'm sorry. That's a relationship killer right there, dude. I don't know what you expect going to happen afterwards.
I forgive Roberto more than I forgive Rogue. I'm just putting out there.
Yeah,
well, he's new to this. He's new to this.
He's new. His mom betrayed him from his perspective. He's upset.
You attack the one person that's been by your side throughout all these traumas.
He sees the full X-Men team. And he said, "Oh, the one, the yellow raincoat, that has to be a stranger." And he attacks that one, thinking it's not Jubilee somehow.
Well, I get him. And listen, like I said, I get Rogue what she was going through, and I get it. Whatever, you could justify it for her, but you can't come back to the X-Men like it was all like nothing happened. Roberto,
yeah, we got a conversation.
I hope they talk about that next season.
Yeah. I'm just saying Roberto could come back easier than her. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know.
No. Because y'all brought this up earlier. Magneto's whole thing, he was talking about, oh, if they died, they were weak. It started to remind me too much of Apocalypse. The Apocalypse whole thing that the strongest will survive, and the strongest of all of us is going to be mutant. So it's like, it was weird seeing him go to that, and then we're going straight to Apocalypse next season.
Yeah.
Which I saw it coming. I told Jake a long time ago. Yeah, they're doing this because they can bring back Gambit and and Callisto and 2 other people who died, most likely.
Dazzler, bring back Dazzler.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to bring back Dazzler. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
you can't kill Dazzler.
I have a question for you guys. Who do you want to see be a part of this new X-Men team next season? That were not teleported away into the past and future.
Yeah, surprised me.
I thought they showed us that with Psylocke and them. I thought that was just going to be who they were.
No, that was just a random little group. But I know at the end of the episode we see Forge with the whole list of mutants, to see who might want to join. So I think we're gonna have those people join, Colossus, Magic, Dust. That was really
Oh, so we're
interesting
just going
to see
full
Dust
New
because
Mutants.
yeah, like Kitty, Emma, but I think I was like really shocked when we saw Dust there because like she debuted in the 2000s, right? Not in the 90s. So,
Definitely not the 90s.
So like that was really interesting to see her. So that maybe will like give us like a lead into like other characters that came out in the 2000s. Like maybe we'll get Prodigy. Just kidding, we won't get Prodigy. But like you never know.
You never know.
I think it's an Easter egg for right now. I think I think they're setting up Avengers versus X-Men at some point. So I think we are going to get there like around like season 3 of the show.
But we
To be
did
honest,
get a Cloak and Dagger cameo, so I'm not too at fault here.
Yeah, at most in the post 2000 mutants will probably get a cameo. Like give the pre 90s characters some time to shine, you know.
Well, Dust, according to
the next season we got to bring back the gang. Where's Juggernaut? Where's Quicksilver? Where's the boy?
Dust, according to Google, is early 2000s, like 2002. So I'm assuming that that's as far as they'll get, like maybe like the early 2004, as far as they'll go.
Okay, I'll accept that at least, you know.
So, but yeah,
don't do something like bringing Kamala into this series. Like, come on,
bro, you got to leave Kamala alone. Use her as an example for everything.
I would rather see Akihiro before we see any hint of an Inhuman.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, I really like the way this series is filmed. Film's a terrible word. Animated. I really like how it feels like I'm just watching every episode. It feels like I'm watching like the 92 show, but this is the movie version of it. Like, it's
you get more quality in the animation. You get that hint of shading.
But I do have a request. Now, also I know where I'm going to go with this eventually, but like at the start of every episode, they do a little like music sting, basically, like but they do the Marvel animation intro. There's all how they keep changing it every other episode. I just want the one where it's like the one of the I forgot it. The one for the first episode where they do the little like espionage sounding thing that leads into the X-Men theme. It just sounds better. But I don't like
you refuse to let them be
up.
unique and let each town reflect the episode that it came in.
Except it doesn't. When they try it, feels awkward. They did the one where they did the silent one, and it didn't matter because the next one was the bombastic theme anyway. So unless they did your idea where they put it at the very start, then the previously, and then the theme, that's it. But that's the way it works. But I don't know. Keep it consistent per show. Do different ones per show. That's all I ask. It's a nitpick. It doesn't matter. But yeah. There you go. Anyway, that was. Do we have any final thoughts?
Can't wait for season 2. Hoping we get more North Star and Aurora in there. Hopefully they're on the new X-Men team. I loved how we got Puck. I want to see more Exodus. I thought he was really cool in his cameo. I did Google it. That chick that was at the end, that was in that one group with Psylocke and Puck and the twins was Cypher. I did look that up. Also, my Wi-Fi is hating me for some reason. Fuck you, Charles. The Shi'ar still confuse me, and give me more Alpha Flight. Thank you.
I guess from my standpoint, yeah, good series. Hope the next season continues the momentum. Would like to see some of the other 90s shows maybe pop up. Like, we did see that glimpse of Peter Parker and then Mary Jane and Doctor Strange and all those other characters.
Cryptid.
It would be nice. Yeah.
I like you brought that up because we didn't get to talk about that. I hated how they treated them in this episode.
Yeah.
So, like, watching Iron Man, who has the house party protocol, this is the 1990s Iron Man, who had the capability to help out, and they had him sit to the side. And then, but the biggest thing for me, Spider-Man of all people saw everything going on and said, "Hey, I'm gonna take my suit off and go home." And then all the other heroes out here fighting the whole time.
But even Daredevil pulled up, and Daredevil was like, "What the hell?" But I think
this is the least Spider-Man thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, and Spider-Man's. Oh, go ahead. Which?
No, I just thought it was funny that Silver Samurai was like saw what happened, and all he did was just go to the roof of his house or whatever. I
Exactly.
just thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's bad,
Like,
man.
at least Peter Parker took off his suit and hung out with Mary Jane, you know? Like,
He
Yeah,
like, I guess we're
what
gonna
is it?
die.
Like, at least,
Look.
like, some of the Russian heroes, like Crimson Dynamo, Omega Red, and Darkstar were doing stuff.
Oh, the Winter
too,
Guard.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, the Winter Guard.
And look, in Spider-Man's defense, I would assume like he has been like addressing some of the chaos that was going on in New York, but you can't expect him to do it all the dang time. I mean, he still has Mary Jane.
I can
He has
expect him to do it when the other heroes are doing it.
Well, he was probably doing it when the other heroes weren't doing it too.
Daredevil
Did you
got
ever think of
knocked through a
that?
wall. Daredevil was a regular dude. He got hit by a Prime Sentinel that was knocking out mutants through a wall.
If
And
if
through a window, and he
Daredevil,
came back out of flame, bro. This Spider-Man said, "I'm gonna
hey,
go home. I'm gonna get my girlfriend,
hey,
and we're gonna take a walk."
hey, this is Daredevil's time to shine. If there was any point in time for his powers to come in handy, it will be during the blackouts. You know.
True.
Also, was Cloak and Dagger buying food? Why would they just end the store? You
No,
saw that, right?
it was a normal day. It was a normal day.
Yeah.
They were just
Just
into the
vibing.
store and hopped out the window after he went through it. Like, what just waiting for?
Mhm.
They were just chilling. They were vibing, man.
Yeah. Oh, before we go,
Oh,
we can talk about T'Chaka.
T'Chaka. Yeah, I wanted to
Yes.
bring him up too.
So,
So what's the
you want to go? You
controversy,
want me to go?
guys? You
Oh,
want to
okay.
explain what the
I'll do
controversy
it.
is? Go ahead.
People believe that MCU has put out a stigma against the T'Challa character for this following evidence. He's so since the actor has died, the Black Panther comics have been terrible. I've been on record saying they were treated his
Yeah.
character horribly. And then outside of that, the first Black Panther game announced with him and Cap, he's not in it, even though that's understandable. It's a different time period.
Mm.
Uh, Apparently, he's not the Black Panther of the future solo game, from
Wow.
our understanding. And then when you come to this show, uh, the writers and the main guy who got fired, whose name I can't remember right now, said
Hmm.
when they did these cameos, they rewatched these shows, and they did it with the idea that all these shows are canon, all 9 shows connected, and that's why you
Yep.
see Morph turn into Mr. Fantastic. That's the same Fantastic Four from their show, who also showed up in Spider-Man. In the Fantastic Four show, T'Chaka died, and T'Challa became Black Panther.
Ooh.
So for them to deliberately go back and make it T'Chaka, despite everybody who around T'Challa's age or who's been doing this along T'Challa, who taught to T'Challa being a hero right now, makes it seem like there's something against T'Challa for fans at the very least.
You see, I didn't know that about his appearance in the Fantastic Four TV show. So, oh wow, that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
T'Challa. That's the same T'Challa shows up in Spider-Man at one point.
Okay, but damn. I mean, I know he made a cameo in X-Men the Animated Series in a blink and you miss it sort of movement, but damn, that's
Yeah.
that
The father
that's
was
sad to
dead,
hear.
and you see T'Challa become King and Black Panther,
Yeah,
and
that's
now it's all reversed with no
sad to
reason,
hear.
and the writers won't tell you why.
Necromancy, guys. It's fine.
this
Yeah.
creates a problem too, where it's like, how tied are the live action characters to everything? If this is true, this is like just
Yeah.
yeah. I brought this joke like when I was talking to Austin. I was like if Robert Downey Jr. dies, we're just not getting Iron Man anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hard to tell. Like,
I mean, they went out of their way to make Dora and Milaje look like the MCU counterparts. That kind of drew me off of this.
They took all their hair.
MCU looks though. I like their
that,
MCU looks.
yeah, that's
I like it to the degree.
that's whatever. I mean, that's another conversation. But when we get to the point where it's like these live action actors are the characters in every version.
Can I be honest with you? That's probably gonna lead to the detriment of all of like the anything like when it comes to like cartoons and such. If they are gonna keep doing that, like most of the time, like when we're watching like an animated like Marvel show, we're not here for like the actual like actors. That's what the movies are for. Like maybe for like What If, but not for like X-Men. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, we can't have Wolverine anymore because Hugh Jackman's not playing Wolverine anymore. Like I'm not gonna think that. Like when I'm watching this show, I'm not thinking of Hugh Jackman, you know?
Exactly.
And that it could be the case that it's just because of Black Panther's obvious influence, the first movie's obvious influence, that they're kind of taking it overboard.
Do you think it would have been better if they just didn't include Black Panther at all? Because they didn't need to. He served no purpose in the series other than a
He had a
cameo.
funny scene. Yeah, a funny scene though.
True.
The Warlord where the Sentinels are like in front of his window, and then randomly start punching it. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna punch my window?" And they like break the window.
I'm gonna punch your
See,
window.
that could have been, bro. That could have been Doom for me. Okay.
Yeah,
Not with
yeah.
Wanda.
That could have been it.
There you go. You could have been the Thing punching a Sentinel.
But
You
it was
know.
Wanda representation. I'm here for it. But
Yeah, but that ended up drawing more pros than more cons than pros in this situation. You know.
I just, like I said, that's just a dangerous mindset to have. They already had a while back. Was it Kevin Feige or someone in Marvel Studios was like, we didn't want to recast. We didn't want to do our version of Doc Ock or Green Goblin because we just can't match like William Dafoe or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, you could try.
Like I said, that's gonna lead to their dead.
No.
Right.
No. To be fair, at least already before that, they wanted to do different villains. They wanted to animate villains that weren't live action before.
Which I'm okay. Which that is okay. I'm saying his thing is like we didn't even want to try because of that. It's the reason they didn't want to try is what bothers me more so than them trying new things, which is ultimately okay, and I'm all here for it. It's just that like I don't like it when things get so bad. I always hate that rhetoric people have where it's like only this actor could have played this character. Let's try it. Let's try somebody else. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I just hope that that's not really what's happening. Maybe just some weird, huge oversight for T'Challa for the war team. But I hope it's that and not just T'Challa. Yeah. I mean, Chadwick Boseman's dead. You know. So. But yeah.
The thing was, they didn't even like do Shuri with like, oh well, T'Challa might be Black Panther while she's being king or something, or queen.
Yeah.
They went back to his father, so I feel like they ran it back. They want to do the T'Challa story with Storm.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't know why I blocked that relationship out of my mind for some reason.
Because it wasn't good. They just randomly said, "Oh, these two are together," and they made up a fake backstory that didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Chaos. That's your name.
Chrono.
Sorry, Chrono. Yeah.
What was your thoughts? What's your thoughts on all this?
About the Black Panther stuff. I don't know. Like, I didn't even know about the Fantastic Four thing. I do think that's kind of weird that they're pushing the MCU so much, and I do think it is kind of to the detriment because like a lot of stuff in the MCU wasn't great. So if they're doing Black Panther, which was really good, are they going to be pushing like other things that aren't so good, like the Wanda stuff? In my opinion, that wasn't that great.
Please hope not.
Yeah. That's my
You guys don't think we're gonna get a House of M storyline at some point with this?
I think it's too soon. I think it's way too soon for that.
Yeah, sorry. Now that I think about it, that's a post 2000 sort of storyline.
Well, keep in mind, in this show, they're probably gonna have the Maximoff twins be mutants in this show specifically because they were mutants in the first show. And this is set in the 90s, not in modern day. If this was set in modern day, then I would have been like, no, don't put them in. But since they are, you know.
Yep. Stick to the foundation.
Magneto mind, so they're connected to him for sure.
Yeah. If you go to the Forge thing, it says Wanda's in space with the Avenger.
But yeah, like I said, I just kind of worry for that future where we get to the point where like actors become so synonymous with roles that you can't use them at all. Which I know is a Japanese thing, actually. I found that out recently that apparently like Japan's like that. If an actor dies or can't be available, it's just over for that character doesn't exist. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hope that's not a thing that comes here. That's just too funny for me.
Naturally. Yeah. Is there anything else we haven't touched about this series yet?
Probably, but we'll probably won't remember it.
I'll probably post about it on TikTok or on Twitter, or we'll just talk about it on the Inferno Discord server that me and Chrono are both on.
Oh yeah.
Do you think when Gambit comes back to the team, Nightcrawler's going to mysteriously have to leave? He's only here to sub for Gambit. That's what he does in the intro.
He's the replacement for Gambit.
The Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
No. I think, no, because I think Mike probably just end up replacing Magneto on the team at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's true.
I thought they go like, oh yeah, Ro, your boyfriend's back. I guess your brother can leave. That's kind of fucked up.
No, Rogue, actually, you should leave. Get the fuck out of the team. It's Nightcrawler.
Get the fuck off and go fuck
Well, to be
Gambit.
fair, from Gambit's point of view, she was just about to fuck Magneto midair, and then he died. So I'm just saying, he might be gay. It could be.
Yeah.
In conclusion, Charles and Eric were super gay for each other, but
Definitely.
since Marvel are cowards, they won't let them be.
No, listen. I think
They're gay for each other, but not gay enough for each other. They would have been working
Yeah,
together.
this
We would have had it solved already.
Logan. This is
I think
Kurt
Xavier
Logan
is
and
gay for
Marvel Logan.
Magneto, but I think if he confronted Magneto about it, Magneto would be like, "Hey, I don't go that way, Charles."
Yeah, I clearly had wives, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So,
You can be bisexual.
you
Shit.
can be bi.
I don't know. I don't buy that Magneto is. I see Charles. I think it'd be funnier if Magneto just doesn't see the sign.
Yeah.
If it was up to me,
But,
a lot more characters would be queer.
Thing. It'll be all of them.
I went on a whole tangent about my OCs in the Inferno chat.
Yeah.
Very well. You got really into it. Even Remy.
But yeah, that's X-Men 97. You know, we did it.
Wait. Is there any future storyline y'all want to see? With all of this time here?
Oh, just write it correctly. Damn, just write it correctly.
Just give me more Alpha Flight and I'll be okay.
I think they're going to do the Kitty Pryde story, Cryptid, where she like does the bullet thing.
Ooh, okay. That'll be cool. Yeah,
I feel like we said, I think her, Emma Frost, and all that going to be in the next team. I feel like we're going to get this storyline. I kind of want to see it.
Oh my God.
That would
be Generation X. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be cool if we could have like a scene between Kitty and Jubilee, since both of them are supposed to, or pretty much filling the same roles in every generation of X-Men's. The young
Kitty. Jubilee can tell you she's an adult now, so it's time for a new kid to come in.
Good.
Yep.
They kind of try to make that.
Did you ever see that movie?
Which one?
Generation X had a movie.
The Generation X movie. It was so bad.
Gotcha.
You know what, guys? We need to watch it for movie night.
One of these days.
It's really funny. It's like so bad it's good. So
they couldn't afford mutant powers, so they did like every shortcut they could. It's the funniest thing.
Oh wow.
X-Men 97, guys. Hey, Storm, share your magical girl clothes powers with the rest of the cast. How about that?
Yeah, address that. Talk about that. That's like when Piccolo randomly walked up and said clothespin and gave a little boy clothes. Like, where did this come from?
Gotcha. Well, anyway, at this point, I'd like to thank Chrono for joining us during this discussion. And any final thoughts before we leave?
We need more gay and we need more Alpha Flight.
Charles, just admit you're gay for Magneto, bro. It's okay. It's okay. It's 97. What's the worst that could happen if you came out gay in 1997? Okay.
If you go to Wolverine and Morph, I please don't have him doing a jeans body. That's all I ask. I don't want him turning jeans.
You sent me that meme.
Awesome. I think that's why I found it. That's how I found it. Because people are like, "Oh, I can't wait. You know Wolverine's weird like that." I'm like, "Bro, please, God, no."
Hey, you remember what happened to that? What was that girl from Runaways when she had that scroll partner?
Carolina.
Carolina, Carolina. Yeah, Carolina was like, I'm into women, and the scroll's like, oh yeah, that's no problem. I'm a scroll. I could just swim right by the women. Yeah.
I got you. Hey, I got you, boo. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I mean, come on. Like, if Morph and Wolverine would be a thing, come on.
No. Yeah, but you got to love Morph for Morph. You only like when we turn into women. That's not really a relationship.
Yeah, well, okay, so in that case, it's the same thing with Carolina. She's only going to be hooking up with the scroll if, they're in a female body, Same thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Fury, you don't respect me enough.
Well, Nick Fury only married a scroll when she turned to a black lady, so.
Well, no. Well, he didn't know that at first, okay? He married a black lady who turned out to be a scroll.
Oh, okay. Listen, Secret Wars, the TV show, was trash. All right, that's all I'm going to say.
That show was so bad.
The show was bad. But, we got to get out of
here. Okay.
Yeah, we should probably end it. Anyways, #Morpherine for the win. And give me more gay. There we go. That's it. That's the ending. Bye guys.
All right.
See you on
Bye,
Monday.
audience. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.